So I had a great question asked my way yesterday. They said, hey, Ganji, when do you know you need to write up an inmate? And we're not talking about the obvious charges. We're talking about the charges that may be more discretionary. So if you look at the behavior of inmates that may be tougher to manage, not all inmates, just the inmates that are tougher to manage, they may fall into three behaviors. Annoying, which is the least problematic of all three. Then you have the disruptive, and then you have the threat. Disruptive and threat, they're probably going to require write-ups. I would actually say go ahead and probably charge them. Disruptive usually affects operations. Threats are definitely safety and security concerns. But when it comes to annoying, that usually may mean just a more subjective maybe, or inmates that just try to push persistence in whatever negative action and then challenging your willpower, if you will. So for me, this is a chance to also, as an officer, to step into that role and develop who you need to be. So this becomes a challenge. And sometimes when you go to write it up, it kind of defers that challenge elsewhere. So me looking down at an officer who is constantly writing up inmates for those smaller things, I start to question their ability to manage the inmate population. Because some people will look at writing a charge at that level as just deferring responsibility or passing it off, when I may want to tell that officer, hey, you got to go ahead and engage professionally, but engage and try to resolve that matter without utilizing charges. So again, it's not an easy thing. Again, you have to kind of figure it out in the moment. But the key is to manage what you can. And sometimes when you write a charge that could be discretionary, it pushes the buck somewhere else and stops you from maybe embracing the opportunity of, one, learning from what this situation can ultimately lead to, maybe a good lesson in inmate management, but two, developing that reputation. You know, the more problems that you tend to solve, the more you develop a reputation that inmates start to understand what you expect. So that could be an opportunity to establish who you need to be with that inmate population. Just food for thought.